So the first thing I want to talk about is this. When players first start the demo at E3, Link is just waking up from some kind of a slumber. It's actually later discovered that he had been asleep for about 100 years. And this is pretty interesting because this opens up a whole bunch of new story possibilities as well as timeline possibilities. And I'm not sure what this could mean for the timeline or the story, but one thing is certain, there's a whole lot of more questions unanswered than there are answered. I don't think we'll be seeing any other types of information like this at E3 this year, but more likely at later Nintendo Directs later on this year. Alright, next up are the shrines. The shrines are these little mini dungeons that are scattered all throughout Hyrule, and it's been said that there's over 100 of them throughout the land, so that's going to be pretty fun trying to explore them all. I suspect there's some kind of huge reward for for exploring them all. Inside, you just solve a bunch of puzzles, and at the very end, you were rewarded what's called a spirit orb by one of the Sheikah leaders, one of these guys right here. There's not a whole lot known about them, but I suspect we'll find out more very soon. Alrighty, so the first thing I want to talk about here is we're finally getting a good view of the map portion given to us at E3. Some of those notable things we're seeing is Temple of Time, of course, Lake Hylia, Hylia River, probably connected. Mount Hylia is an interesting topic. Not too sure about Hopper Pond or Eastern Abbey, but the Forest of Spirits is definitely something I want to touch on a little bit later in the theory section of the video. Okay, so this is probably by far one of my most favorite parts of the presentation today. They revealed that we are going to be getting some Miibo. We've got Link as an archer, one of the guardians, and Link riding on Epona. Now, one of the other cool features is if you tap the Wolf Link Amiibo on the gamepad, you actually get to have Wolf Link as a partner in game, and he follows you around and hunts for you and does damage to bad guys. And I think that is a really nice touch because, to my knowledge, there's no other partner in this game, so having that is really cool. Alrighty, so this is one of the more interesting bits that I saw during the presentation. We get our first look at Ganon, or as he's called in this game, Calamity Ganon. Now, I suspect that further out during the game, he will have some kind of humanoid form, but he is clearly the main antagonist of this game, and I honestly cannot wait to see more of it and what they do with him further down the line. Okay, so here's where my theory begins. During the gameplay footage today, we discovered that Koroks are actually going to be making an appearance in this new Zelda game. And it's actually really cool to see them again because we haven't seen them since Wind Waker. One thing to point out is they aren't really designated by name in this game. They're just called Koroks. But these Koroks actually had names in Wind Waker. One was Elma and the other one was Olivio. Now, I'm not sure what this means for the game, but if they're just placeholders, then there's a good chance that we'll see more Koroks eventually, and they could have a more prominent role in this new Zelda game. But let's take a look at the timeline real quick, and we can do some, quick history here. We know that Kokiri evolved into the Koroks eventually over time due to the events of the Great Flood. They had to evolve in order to survive, basically. Now, this would highly infer that this new Zelda game takes place sometime after the events of Wind Waker. Now, here's where things get pretty interesting. I was looking up Koroks, and they're known as the Forest Spirits. Now, also during the gameplay footage today, we got a pretty good view of the first little chunk of map, and one of the areas was called the Forest of Spirits. Now, from this, I can definitely infer that that is where the Koroks all live, and there's a good chance we'll see more once we go there. There's also a chance that we might see the Deku Tree at some point in the game. Okay, so as a final note, I'm sure I'm not the only one to have thought of this, but the old man in the new trailer and gameplay seems to have a very striking resemblance to King Daphnis Johansen Hyrule from Wind Waker, especially in the nose and the beard area. Like I said, I'm sure I'm not the first person to think of this, but if this is the case, then this could really tie in with my theory. So I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.